Her screams echoed through the night. Nobody came to her rescue. The little girl was only 10, but the wicked stepmother had already sold her soul to a spirit in exchange for riches. This is her story. Chiamaka was born in a small village surrounded by forests and rivers. She was gentle, kind, and carried the innocent glow of childhood. But after her mother's death, her father remarried, and that was when her life began to darken. Her stepmother, Ijoma, wore smiles for the village, but carried cruelty in her heart. To her, Chiamaka was a burden, an unwanted shadow of another woman's womb. Every day, Chiamaka fetched water, swept the compound, and cooked meals she barely tasted. Her father, busy in the farmlands, rarely noticed the bruises on her skin or the sadness in her eyes. At night, Ijoma whispered to neighbors about how troublesome the girl was, painting herself as a patient guardian. But behind closed doors, she struck Chiamaka with sticks, denied her food, and forced her to sleep on a mat by the kitchen fire. Yet Chiamaka never complained. She held her pain in silence, her eyes filled with unspoken questions. One night, as the moon bathed the village in silver light, Ijoma crept from the hut. She walked to the river, carrying palm oil, white cloth, and a black fowl. No one saw her. No one heard her whispers. She begged the river goddess for wealth and promised anything in return. And from beneath the waters, a voice replied, "Bring me a soul, the soul of innocence. Then your riches shall flow like rivers." Ijoma's heart raced. She trembled, but greed drowned her fear. She nodded. The sacrifice was decided. The following days brought cruelty sharper than before. Ijoma forced Chiamaka to rise before dawn, beating her if she lagged. When Chiamaka returned from the stream with heavy pots of water, Ijoma spilled them on purpose, laughing as she sent the child back into the forest. Strange signs appeared. Footprints glowed by the riverbank at night. Fishermen whispered of pale faces beneath the water. Offerings left on the rocks vanished by morning. Old Baba Tunde, the herbalist, warned Chiamaka gently, "Beware of water that sings, child. Beware of gifts too easily given." His words clung to her heart. At night, Chiamaka dreamt of hands pulling her into the river, voices chanting her name. She woke screaming. Ijoma slapped her into silence, but her own eyes betrayed fear, fear that the spirits had begun to circle. The villagers whispered too. Chickens were found drained of blood. Nets disappeared into the river. Children woke crying, saying they saw glowing hands in their dreams. Yet Ijoma continued her secret visits to the water, where the voice grew more insistent. "Bring her, bring the child." One night, under a swollen moon, Ijoma's plan unfolded. She told her husband that Chiamaka was sent to fetch water, but instead, she led the girl toward the river. "Come," she ordered, her tone deceptively sweet. "Help me wash these clothes." Chiamaka obeyed, clutching the bundle, unaware of the trap. The river shimmered unnaturally, as if waiting. When they reached the bank, Ijoma pushed the child forward. Chiamaka stumbled, frightened. "Step into the water," Ijoma commanded. "I'm scared," the girl whispered. Do as I say. The waters rippled. A pale, beautiful figure rose from the depths. Mami Wata, hair flowing like seaweed, eyes glowing like fire. Her voice filled the air without sound. The soul is mine. Chiamaka screamed as unseen hands pulled her under. Her small arms flailed, reaching for help, but Ijoma turned away. The water closed, the ripples stilled, silence fell, and Ijoma smiled, for in that moment she believed she had gained everything she desired. But wealth that comes from darkness carries a curse. Days later, Ijoma found cowries buried behind her hut. Traders offered her fine fabrics. The village elders invited her to feast. Wealth flowed as promised, yet peace never came. At night, Ijoma awoke to Chiamaka's screams echoing beneath the waters. Sometimes her feet were wet, though she hadn't left her hut, and in the polished calabash of water, she saw the child's face staring back, hollow and accusing. The villagers suffered too. The chief's son fell ill, his skin covered in scales. Goats drowned in shallow pools. Children screamed at night, claiming they were dragged by invisible hands. The people whispered Ijoma had cursed them. Her husband, filled with suspicion, confronted her. "Where is Chiamaka? What have you done?" She lied, but his eyes no longer held trust. That night, the spirit whispered again, "One soul is never enough. Bring me more." Ijoma trembled. She had thought her bargain ended with Chiamaka, but greed had chained her soul, and now the river demanded more blood. On the seventh night, the waters roared. Floods swallowed the farms. Villagers fled in terror, and amidst the storm, they saw her, Chiamaka's ghostly figure, standing in the flood waters, pointing toward Ijoma's hut. The villagers knew the curse was tied to her. Ijoma's husband abandoned her, unable to bear the whispers and her haunted eyes. Alone, she heard the spirit call once more, "You are mine." Come to the waters. Her body obeyed against her will. Through the forest, through the shadows, she walked until she reached the river. There stood Chiamaka, glowing faintly, hair dripping wet, eyes blank. She raised a hand and pointed at Ijoma. Ijoma fell to her knees. "Please forgive me. I only wanted wealth. I only wanted more." The waters rose like arms and pulled her in. She screamed, clawing at the earth, but the mud betrayed her grip. The river swallowed her whole. At dawn, the villagers gathered by the banks. The waters glowed strangely before calming. Floating on the surface was Ijoma's torn cloth, soaked in blood. Baba Tunde raised his voice. "Greed is a curse heavier than chains." She sought wealth, but gave her soul. Let her fate be a warning. No blessing from the dark will ever bring peace. From that day, no one left offerings at the river again. Children were forbidden to play near its edge. And when the wind blew at night, villagers swore they still heard screams, the eternal cry of a woman who sold a child for riches and was claimed by the spirit she served. Chiamaka's name lived on, told in hushed voices around firesides. Some say her spirit became a guardian of children. Others believe she lingers in the river's depths, but all agreed on one thing: beware of promises whispered by the water, for every gift carries a price, and sometimes that price is a soul.